Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reef. On today's episode, I'm all the way in Canberra, Australia's capital, to check out Beyond Aquariums ahead of their 4th birthday celebration. All right, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs. And as touched on in the intro, today has been a long day. I got up super early this morning, jumped on a plane, flew to Australia's capital. I'm here in Canberra to check out the one and only Beyond Aquariums. We've been fortunate enough to get up here and to get a microphone on one of the owners, Nick. He's going to take us through the entire shop. Everything looks spick and span because today they are celebrating their 4th birthday celebration at this location. So there's heaps of sales, heaps of events, heaps of guests here. We're going to get a sneak peek of the footage through the entire shop, get Nick to take us through, tell us through some of the stories of some of the livestock, some of the coral, some of the fish, and of course talk about their business and what they do. So without any further ado, let's go see Nick and jump into the tour.
Yeah, cool.
All right, Nick, take us through the shop, man.
Yeah,
I believe
sure.
you've got heaps to show us. Holy moly. Man, look at the plants hanging from the roof in here. You're walking into a jungle in here, it's crazy.
So we've got the big tank here for the red-tailed catfish.
Yeah, so this is like a huge pond style setup you got there with a big viewing window on the front. It's like a above ground pond.
Yeah, so we've had the red tail for about 6 months now.
Yeah, right.
He's getting pretty big, eats a lot of food. It's probably already worth his weight in food now. So
he's a big boy.
He's very friendly.
You say he was 6 months old?
Only 6 months old, yeah. We've had him 4 and he was about that big when we got him.
Oh, now these guys do have a reputation for growing into big fish.
Monster. I think it would outgrow this. As far as I'm aware. So yeah, definitely. It's a good fish. He is available if someone wants him, but you need the right tank for him, I think.
Yeah, well, as you say, he's going to be a monster, but he's got plenty of character. What a cool fish. And like I said, this drop and go pond is something pretty cool. That's got to be a good 1,000+ litres.
Yeah, it actually comes in a bigger size too.
Yeah, right.
And we sell quite a lot of them for people at home.
Yep.
People either have them indoors, they work outdoors as well.
Yeah.
They're made for outside, so definitely depending on what you're after, you can even do marine fish.
Yeah.
Any
With
large
that viewing
freshwater
window,
fish,
that's
stingrays.
awesome.
A lot of people buy them for.
Yeah.
Sold a lot for stingrays. But yeah, with the viewing window, it makes them really good options. So yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Now, before we go around looking at all the tanks in the shop, man, just a quick pan around the shop. You've got this absolutely stacked to the nines. There's barely a square inch in the shop that's not being utilised with freshwater fish, marine fish, corals, plants, dry goods, aquascaping, you name it, everything is here. And presented beautifully. I love this theme you got going on here with all the greenery up on the roof. It just kind of makes the shop really look alive.
Yeah, and we definitely want it to go for that look. We want to make sure that we're trying to, I guess, transition from the water to the space that we live in.
Yep.
And we want to provide inspiration to everyone that walks in here.
Yeah, yep.
Stock we try and keep full because everyone needs stuff.
Of course.
I personally hate going into a store. They don't have what I want because I don't personally like shopping online.
Yes.
I think, especially for our industry, people want to come in, they want to buy what they want.
Absolutely.
They want it there ready to go.
Yeah,
they want to take it home because they need it at that point in time.
They need the expert advice on
definitely
how to use
too.
it,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So having that stock there's a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
It's really important for our customers to be able to get what they want when they come in. Yeah.
Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you can see it with the fish as well.
Yeah,
I don't go to many other stores, that have
the
just
dry
as many
stock
fish in each.
is chock-a-block, but the livestock has not been forgotten. Now, obviously, it's your 4th birthday weekend here, so I'm sure you guys strive to have the shop looking this incredible 24/7.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, look, the
But
floor's probably not mopped as much. That's probably the only caveat to this weekend. But yeah, definitely everything tries to stay as clean as possible.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is the standard you strive to achieve. And the day this video is going live, you've got some festivities here in store. You've got some special guests. You've got some giveaways. You've got some good deals going on.
Yeah, a lot of people in the industry coming down.
Awesome.
A lot of people for coral as well and for freshwater.
Yes.
And a lot of giveaways. So make sure if people are coming, then tomorrow's the day for it.
Excellent. All right. Well, why don't you take us through some of these tanks, show us some of the stock you've got, and tell us about some of the things you guys do here at Beyond Aquariums.
Yeah, for sure. So we sell a lot of koi. A lot of people in Canberra love their ponds.
Yeah.
Only small ones at the moment because they're out of season now. But they're still always available. So when people need to come get the smaller ones,
I can't tell you how jealous I am of koi. I'm a Victorian, and it's a big no-no in Victoria.
Yeah, I didn't know that until recently. That when we were buying them, someone had to confirm with us that we weren't in Victoria. I don't know. Some people get confused where the ACT is, I think.
Who doesn't know where the capital of Australia is?
It is a shame. Look, I assume a lot of people in Victoria still have them, but
possibly, but it does come with huge fines.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy because our waterways are the same as Victoria. They're packed, absolutely packed. I could probably, go fishing and catch half the koi that people sell. So yeah, it's really interesting dynamic in Australia.
The logic to it is somewhat missing, but unfortunately the laws state I can't have them at home, but I can look at them here at Beyond Aquariums.
We also have a lot, in the ACT itself, we have a lot of marine algae species that are illegal. Even though we don't really have a shoreline here, we're 2 hours away from the ocean.
Yeah, you're an inland state.
There is a small area in the ACT that is down on the south coast, but I don't know if those laws for that, but yeah, same thing. It's just very archaic, I guess. Yeah, they've been around for a long time, those laws, but
these look great, and then these tanks are really cool too. And you've got the sort of cascading system, gives a cool
so these we predominantly use them for plants. Every now and then we'll convert them in certain times of year, like generally in spring. We convert them to have a lot of different size koi in here. But yeah, mainly throughout the year, plants. Big on plants here. Probably one of our biggest sellers after fish.
You've got so many plants in this system. Absolutely packed in there, and I'm a marine guy. I've never had a freshwater tank, so I don't know the first thing about freshwater aquatic plants, but I know that these are pretty. They've got great colour, great different shapes and styles of growth, and really give that freshwater tank a lease of life.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess these are more, our standard basic plants.
Yes.
And then we've got more of our aquascapes plants over here in this runway.
So just like the corals, the plants obviously have got different tiers of difficulty, price, and expertise.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess what you're going for in the looks of your tanks too. You want something easy, it's basic. There's the Anubis on wood are good, but then once you're really interested in your plants, you can pull apart all these plants and start scaping your tanks like you really would want to, and what you see online.
Yeah, crazy nice. Yeah, like the colours, the reds through these, the different shades of green, the different leaf sizes, patterns. Really, really nice. And I imagine, as they grow out over different scapes and things, they get a whole different character as well.
Yeah, definitely. And use them for different areas in the tank. Some of them end up growing taller. Some you can actually trim to keep them a nice mat. So yeah, it just, I guess, depends on the looks you go for. I'm the same as you. I'm big into marine, but look, I got to learn it for the customers, I guess.
Of course.
I need an answer for everything. So.
Yeah, definitely. And then just to give inspiration, you don't have to look far here because you've got a great range of display tanks. Just to show people some different styles, different
definitely.
approaches.
All the different stages and all the different styles.
The
boys definitely pride themselves on having each and every of their own tanks. A lot of looking after all these small tanks, but I think it's rewarding because we give people inspiration on what they could do with what products we have available.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's always nice going to an aquarium store that's got something on display that we can. That gives inspiration, essentially.
Gives inspiration and also gives faith to the customer that it's possible.
I guess, you see stuff online and a lot of it's, kind of set up for that moment. Whereas these tanks, they need to stay like this. They can't, otherwise it would look silly if they're only working for the day we set them up.
Definitely. And I believe this tank up here, this interesting looking piece up here has a bit of a story to it.
So the business owner Lachlan, his grandfather, great grandfather owned this. The tank is estimated around 1910, 1920.
Wow.
The outside is still all original. Glass has been replaced obviously over the years. It used to have a lead bottom. I don't know how well that works with fish nowadays, but the science back then was very different.
Could have been somewhat disposable fish back then, but it's not every day you see. Granted, it's had some refurbishment and some updates to it, but a tank that's been around for over 100 years, particularly in a country as young as Australia, is pretty unique. And to have it not just still alive and existing, but looking great and actually out on the...
and working,
Working and out on the floor. People can see it. It's not, behind a glass wall or something. People can see it here. And I do love the modern touches. Like you've obviously added some filtration and things to it, and you've kept this really intricate sort of style lid, for lack of better words, on it.
Look, I don't know what the original purpose was. It's probably just for aesthetics, but it looks pretty cool.
It looks awesome, Now, freshwater fish, I mean, there's obviously a huge variety from both cold water species to the tropicals. You guys have got a whole wall and some down here of lots and lots of fish. Granted, this is Parker's Reef, so we're not going to go into massive detail on every freshwater fish
No,
you've got.
definitely not.
There's way too much here to just gloss over, so I'll get you to take us through some of the categories and highlights you've got in store at the moment.
Yeah, so as far as freshwater cold stuff goes, not a whole lot of variety in Canberra. It gets way too cold.
Yeah, right.
Without a heater in Canberra, your tank's dropping in the single digits, if not sometimes colder.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a lot of Australian natives, and then just mainly goldfish, really.
Yes.
And then as we move through, we've got all our tropical stuff. All our live bearers all kind of go together, and then we move through huge volumes of tetras. Probably our biggest freshwater seller is tetras.
No shortage of tetras in here. And they all got little subtle differences to them, different colours, different markings, different sizes. I don't begin to know anything remote about tetras, but I know they're an affordable, well, some species at least are an affordable, easy to keep fish that you can have.
A lot of colour.
A lot of colour.
Yeah, a lot of
colour. You can have
movement.
a lot of them in the tank too, and they can give that
for sure.
real, that look of a real, dense population of a tank.
It's almost got like that schooling, like ball effect, I guess, with some of them.
Definitely.
So really big volume. It goes back again, like what I said with the dry stock, is that we keep the volume here because on a Saturday we get pumped through with tetras. We still want to have some by Sunday. People still want to be able to come in on a Sunday afternoon, pop in, get some tetras, and still have the availability here that they can buy 10, 15 if they need to. Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, and as we move down, still lots of tetras, start getting into more of the rasboras.
Right.
Which are similar kind of fish to tetras, small schooling fish, lots of colour.
Yeah, nice.
And then as we move down, I guess we kind of get more into the more nippy fish, more a bit of the aggressive stuff.
Yes.
Got a really lovely flower horn we've had here for a while.
He's a beast.
He's still been looking for his home. But I think it's a hard fish to have because it's the only fish you can kind of have in a tank. You can put it with plecos sometimes, but it's definitely the only feature in there. So
I mean, he's not going to go into the school of those neon tetras too well.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I don't think there's much that can go with him really. Yeah, and then we move into more of our American cichlids as well.
Yes.
Got some stingrays, they're hybrids.
Yeah, crazy nice.
Yeah, so they're a black diamond hybrid.
Yeah, they're impressive.
Yeah, so we normally try and keep a few small ones in stock.
Yes.
Again, very popular fish. You need a tank for them. That's the biggest thing. Is that
freshwater rays get massive as well.
Yeah, I think about 60 centimeters. On the plate of it. But very cool, unique fish. Something really interesting. They're like a puppy dog.
Yeah. Such a personality.
I'd say that they're getting more to the point of personality with like the larger marine fish.
Yes.
Good kind of intermediate between freshwater and saltwater, I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. And then finally we just got all African cichlids. They're the bread and butter. There's all different colours of them.
As far as freshwater fish go, man, the colours on these guys are pretty crazy.
Yeah, so we look after a lot of tanks in the region, a lot in New South Wales. We go as far as Dubbo, look after fish tanks in Dubbo. Majority of them have African cichlids in them. Bit easier to keep them marine, but you're still getting a really nice volume of colour.
Really nice colour, movement. Like, look at these guys, just putting the camera in front of their face and they go to an absolute...
They've been trained well to be fed.
Just a hive of activity. There's nothing passive about these guys. They're crazy, which is cool, which is definitely what a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah, and like we keep most of our fish here really well fed. I'm a big proponent of making sure fish are fed well. I think that helps them the most, especially when we need to medicate them and things like that, getting through their tough times when they're sick.
Of course.
If they're healthy and they've been eating a lot, they're not going to actually lose much condition on them.
Exactly.
And it's good practice for us as a business as well, because we get to keep a lot more fish in stock in that way. We may need a water change more often, but look, that's what everyone's got to do. You can't. I think going for that motto of trying to not do water changes isn't going to get you very far.
It seems to be just doing things the difficult way. If you're, why not do a water change?
Well, water's one of the cheapest products we can use. So,
exactly.
And then we come down to the best bit, and my favourite part is all the marine fish.
Yes.
So we take transfer method all our fish here. So majority of our fish are very, very healthy. They all have to be eating. We don't want to try and sell people fish that are eating only a specific type of food.
Sure.
So they need to be we need to try and get them onto pellets, or at least a readily available frozen food that someone can buy out of our freezer or any pet store that's near them. And we do tend to have a lot more success in the rack as well here. I've been looking after marine fish for a very long time.
Yes.
it's just the way it is nowadays. You have to really have quarantined fish. It affects us as a business. It affects our customers that come in. You know, knock on wood, we don't have customers coming back saying that we've got really sick marine fish in their tank. So it's a really good, and I pride myself on how healthy our fish look.
Yes.
I want to make sure that we're providing the best product to our customers, not necessarily the cheapest. Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, there is a considerable amount of effort that goes into TTMing.
Oh, I wish I didn't have to do it. I wish I didn't have to get the voice to it either. Look, we get it. It's probably the biggest crux of us as a group of people is that we're always arguing about making sure it's getting done properly, and we hold a very high standard for our saltwater fish. We want to make sure that they're really, really in a state where we don't expect a customer to have, you know, if they've got a small fish tank at home, we don't expect them to have another tank at home just to look after those fish before they put them in their tank. And it's a stressful environment too if you're always thinking about, oh, is this fish sick, or is it healthy, or is it going to last, or am I going to waste my money? It's just something I don't feel is a good feeling. This hobby should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you said it in one sentence there. It's a hobby. And if you're not having fun in a hobby, it's not really a hobby anymore.
It's our job, it's not your job.
And as difficult as TTM is in a shop, at least you've got the space, you've got the personnel, you've got the facilities,
well,
and the
you
expertise.
do a large volume at the same time. You know, you spend an hour a day doing your TTM. Doesn't matter if it's 5 buckets or 1 bucket. You're still doing the same process.
Exactly.
It just adds an extra maybe a minute per bucket to do the same process.
That's
so it becomes a lot easier for us to do it at volume. And then we can also have a larger volume and variety of fish that are available at a TTM. You're not having to individually pick each fish and hope they even survive through TTM. That's our problem. Let us worry about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then speaking on the variety of fish you've got in at the moment, like obviously that would change week to week as sell and availability, but you've got some pretty cool things in at the moment. Like
there's the bread and butter fish. You know, we've got clownfish, blue tangs, sailfins, fox faces. That we try and always keep those specific fish in stock. A few little varieties like the porcupine puffer, we try and always have one. There's a few little fish that either myself or someone else at the store really likes. So always at least keep one of them in stock. Jensen's wrasse are one of my favourite wrasse.
Super cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. Really easy to keep fish. Really, I guess, interactive with you as a fish. So that's one that I just keep one in stock. You know, we may not sell them very often, but you know, they're pretty funny looking. They do silly things. I think they're really, really silly. Like he's putting on a performance for us right now.
He's hamming it up for the camera right now.
And same with the clownfish. We try and always have a pair of, Clarkies, a pair of maroons.
You've got a great assortment here from, you've got a pair of Clarkies down here, you got some maroons. These ones, no. What type of clowns are these guys?
I think they're another variety of Clarkie. Look, someone's going to correct me.
That's all
but
good.
maybe Bay Reef.
That makes
clown
sense.
or something like that. Yeah, very similar. Clarkies are more black, but there is a lot of species of clownfish that all just get grouped into Clarkies.
Of course.
Look, there's different species names. I used to be a lot better at it, but when I got a lot of other tasks on my mind, it's very hard to remember all the names.
Either way, good assortment of clowns. Then you come over to like some of the more designer options that are out there these
all
days,
from Coastal Clowns, Matt.
Matt does great
Produces
work.
really great quality clownfish. Very, very little deformities in them and stuff, and I think he prides himself on that.
Absolutely.
We've had many a conversation about clownfish. But definitely for our designers, they're our only go-to. We don't bother anywhere else. And, I like to support local businesses, small businesses. It's just him and Jade, so, I like to support them as a family. We're a family-owned business as well, so we want to do the same for them. So, definitely.
And their heart and soul's in it too. They're
exactly. You can have a conversation. Any customer can even have a conversation with Matt for 5 minutes, and they'll know what he does is great work. And his ethos is very similar to everyone else, that we all associate with. So it's good. You see good people in the industry, you want to support them.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we've also got some the sailfin catfish from northern WA. They're a really, really cool fish. Get quite large. I think they're a bit of a bulldozer too, so I think the only caveat is you need to make sure that your rocks are all glued together.
Definitely.
If you've just got a rubble tank sort of thing, they're not ideal because they'll dig under into the sand, under the ornaments and things like that in the rocks. But one of the coolest fish you can have in a tank. Again, similar like the Jensen's wrasse, I love them because I think they're really inquisitive, they've got a lot of personality, and they're definitely a feature fish in tank. Yes, they are black, but they're always busy. They're always doing something, and that's what I love about it.
It's a different style of fish for a marine environment.
Yeah.
So it gives a real point of difference.
Yeah, and in tanks that we've got them in maintenance clients, they're always like, people always come in and ask them what that fish is. It's always the fish they point out first, even though it's not gleaming in color. It's the first fish everyone points out. They go, what's that? Is that a coral catfish? No, it's actually a different variety of catfish.
It's funny.
Yeah, I think they're not invertebrate safe, but don't hold me to that.
They do look like the sort of fish that might have a munch on a snail. That's for sure.
Yeah, something. I think if they can fit in their mouth, they're going to go for them.
For sure.
We always stock stripies as well.
Definitely.
Again, when they're available, really good fish. Aptasia eater.
Yep.
Sometimes when you run out of Aptasia, they'll go for other things.
Yes.
I had really good success with them in a tank that had a lot of Manjano anemones.
Yeah, yep.
They did knock them down to the point where we could go in and use like a bit of Aptasia X or something like that and just finish off the little ones they couldn't get their mouth into the holes.
Yes.
Definitely a very utilised fish.
They've become an absolute staple in the hobby here in Australia.
They weren't as big a long time ago. Yeah,
some of my viewers in the UK are pulling their hair out trying to get hold of these fish, and I'm like, surely the collectors and wholesalers are sending them over there, because you almost won't go into a local fish shop here in Australia without seeing some stripies.
Yeah, and we were discussing before, like as a kid, you've probably caught 100 of them if you go fishing with your family down the coast or anywhere that's sort of wharf. They're going to be teeming with them. So people actually come in contact with stripies in Australia a lot more than we think until you get into the hobby and you're like, it's that fish.
Exactly. So, they're not rare by any stretch of the imagination.
No, definitely not. And look, they're not overly expensive. They're a good fish to have, like I said, with Aptasia and things like that.
I still think I know they're black and white, but I still think they add a real point of difference. The markings, the lack of colour may be the best way to describe it, the black and white.
Well, I think like it's a contrast between the two colours. You've got something that's got stark stripes in your tank. It's very different to other fish. Definitely. Clown triggers, we always try and keep one large one in stock. They're a very popular fish. Super big personality, super big teeth. They're probably I knock on wood, I've never been bitten by one, but probably don't want to be.
I wouldn't.
But they're always ready to bite you. So some of them are a lot calmer than others. A lot of them I end up training them to hand feed.
Yes.
But again, I wouldn't get my fingers too close.
For sure. And the fact that you guys always have one of these big guys on hand, or try to at least have a big one on hand, probably is a testament to. Obviously you've got a retail space that you cater for domestic aquariums and people setting up fresh or marine tanks at home. But you guys also are big on your maintenance and servicing, and a big component of that is commercial setups.
Yes,
And whilst it takes a pretty big tank in a home to have a clown trigger that big, in a hotel, in a golf course, in a dentist, and places like that.
It disappears pretty much. If in some of our really large tanks, we put a big clown trigger in like that, and you're not going to see it. Almost not going to see it. It's like a little schooling fish.
Exactly.
But definitely they do get quite large too. He's probably maybe half the size they get.
Right.
The last one we had, it was a lot bigger than that.
Yep.
But and then there's, I guess, the challenges of quarantining a fish that big.
Yes.
But they're pretty tough, pretty resilient fish.
They're not really known to be finicky or anything like that.
I find they're not very aggressive towards other fish. A lot of people say, you can't keep them with this and that. I've had them with small chromis or large chromis in scale of things.
Yes.
But small for him, and they tend to leave him alone. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then speaking of fish that may be a little bit more predatory, you've got a pretty wicked little collection down in this system down here. Yeah.
So again, try and keep a few of the oddities in. We've got a scorpion fish, a stonefish in there. We've also got a northern wobbegong, which are like the smaller variety. Really, really cool fish. I've never had one before until recently, until this guy. Really, really interactive. And keep them in a smaller tank than most other sharks.
Yes.
So even the epaulet sharks, they stay a lot smaller than that.
Yes.
Aggressive at food, which is fun. Like all these fish in here. If I have to put a piece of food in here, they all are squabbling over it. They've never, knock on wood, they've never ever hit each other.
Yes.
But it's pretty scary if you were a fish or something that went in that tank.
Well, that is the excitement of a predator fish system.
Yeah, definitely.
Is
feeding them. Yeah,
you don't want something that's a passive feeder.
I guess, they're akin to like what people, if people like have snakes at home.
Yeah.
So a similar interaction when you're feeding them. They get a bit riled up, and it's kind of a bit fun for them. Yeah.
And as you say, much like a snake.
Yeah, and you can see I feed them, so they're always jumping up and around, which they're not normally known for. They're normally sitting there doing nothing. But
I was just about to say, much like a snake, they kind of spend most of their time doing this, and then of course, just off camera, these two guys decided they'd put on a dance. And look at this stone. He is a proud looking unit. He's got that big head, just looking at the surface, waiting for food to go in.
Yeah, I think he came out of Western Australia. Really cool colours. He's actually got a lot of colour underneath him, which is interesting. You don't notice it until he moves around, but he's very blended in until he does actually start moving, and then, there's actually a really nice show of colour. So there is a bit of colour still to some of the predators.
Super nice.
You just got to pick the right ones.
Of course, yeah.
That's for sure.
And then you got some more, I don't want to discredit the fish because they're beautiful, but some more staples up there, some magnificent foxface, powder blue. Always nice to see a powder blue through TTM.
Powder blue with smooth skin is I guess the goal for powder blues.
They are a stunning fish, obviously known to be fairly difficult, but if you get them through a TTM process, it obviously greatly improves their odds.
And then they last for a very long time. I think they're a lovely looking fish. I think it's just the caveat is you've got to be really careful what you're putting in your tank with them. It's always good to do them, I guess, last.
Yes.
Because then you know that your tank's gone through everything.
Yep.
It's a lot more difficult fixing a tank with a powder blue in it once you get your fish stick than it is without a powder blue in it. They're generally one. It's like a magnet. Everything sticks to them. Yeah. I don't know if it's just that they're more visible on the fish, but I think more so they're just more prone to it. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And great. So we got. From blue tangs, you've got tiny little babies in here through some
people like the small ones.
Guys there. Great assortment. Nice. Pajama cardinals, you got coral beauties, you got yellow assessors, lawnmower blennies, great assortment of clowns. I quite like the assortment of damsels and chromis and things you have here. These guys got some incredible colour on them. Yeah,
they're quite nice. The Roland damsels, again, someone's going to probably correct me and say that they got a slightly different name. But really like our little damsels and things like that. We try and stock ones that aren't aggressive. Just again because for customers they're not gonna enjoy a fish that's smashed on the rest of their fish.
Of course.
It's always a headache, and it's a lot harder to get fish out once they've got rocks in the tank. For us, it's easy to move fish around, so we want to try and provide a fish that's going to go into their tank and they're going to have success. For sure. Now, before we get to the corals, because there's some pretty juicy ones in here, much like you did with your freshwater displays, you've also gone and have got a wall here of marine displays as well, just showcasing some of the possibilities and different styles you can do, just to give customers that inspiration and the faith that they can do it as well. Yeah, these are a little bit younger than the freshwater ones. But again, it's the main thing is to try and give people that opportunity to see what they can do. And what a tank, stacked with corals looks like. Makes a really good show. And it's something for the staff to enjoy, getting some enjoyment at work as well.
It gives it,
they all kind of take onus of each little tank. So this one's, obviously work in progress. But we've got a SPS dominant tank. We've got a mixed with predominantly LPS. We've got the little seahorse tank on the end for people that are into that little thing.
Definitely.
Definitely a very, very cool animal. Very easy to keep nowadays. There's a lot of information about them. Previously, they were a bit harder to keep. Food availability wasn't as good. We've got, I can't tell you how many frozen foods we've got here.
It's a good assortment.
Yeah, a good assortment. Yeah, it's definitely a big improvement in the industry as fish and the seahorse nutrition. Things like the seahorses, pipefish, all that have become available to hobbyists. 10 years ago, wasn't as readily available. I used to keep the cold water seahorses. Chillers are prohibitively expensive for most people. A lot of people don't want to have a tank and then spend thousands of dollars on a chiller just to keep the fish they want. Now that we've got the tropical seahorses breeding in mass, it's made it a lot more accessible to hobbyists. Definitely.
And for a marine system, they're a great option because you don't need powerful lights. You don't really want wave makers. Keeps a very simple and basic system.
Well, look, and I hope most people buy fish tanks to enjoy them and as a calming thing in a house. We do have a lot of them in dental surgeries, doctors.
Yes.
And I think they have them for that reason. So I think it'd be nice. It's nice that everyone has them at home for the same reason. You can sit there and watch them. Seahorses are very graceful and a peaceful animal.
It doesn't get much more peaceful than a seahorse.
Yeah, so I think that's probably their allure. But yeah, definitely something we like to try and keep in stock as well.
Nice, nice. Now, you've got some weird and wonderful inverts along here too.
Yes.
You've got some things that I'm not even going to try and attempt to name, but you've got a pretty wicked assortment of different stars, including this big dude. I mean, it all comes down to part of the benefits of having that a decent percentage of clientele that do have those larger commercial sized tanks.
Yeah, well, some people like just to have them at home as well. Some people just like to go fish only, but then still want something with colour and uniqueness.
Yes.
So starfish are a good option.
Great option.
They don't, they're not going to annoy your fish too much.
No.
If anything, your fish are probably going to annoy them more.
This is true.
But yeah, some of the bigger starfish are really cool. Lots of colour on them. We've got I think they're a pin cushion starfish as well, which is a really large variety of starfish as well. Lots of colour on them.
Crazy looking unit,
Yeah.
Good assortment of urchins, or even more stars up the end there.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of different varieties of snails as well.
Yep.
I think personally it's important to have more varieties than just your standard trochus and turbos.
Yep.
Different snails do different things.
For sure.
You find for like your hair algas, your astrea snails are really good.
Yep.
They just demolish stuff that the other snails won't.
Yes.
Some snails I find work 24 hours a day. Some snails, like the turbos, only work at night time, and then they sleep all day, so then that kind of makes your tank a bit uglier during the day.
Yep.
Zombies as well. A lot of zombie snails are really good.
Yep.
You obviously can't see them, but a lot of sand-sifting starfish. A lot of sand-sifting starfish.
Yes.
I think we're one of the only people right now that have got sand sifters. Out of season, with all the flooding in Queensland as well, it's very hard to find sand-sifting stars.
Yes.
The areas that they live in have been washed out.
Right.
But awesome cleanup for your tank. I would say every 100 litres of tank, you probably at least want 10 of them, I'd say.
Yep.
You never have to clean your sand then.
Yep.
It's something. It takes the work from you as the hobbyist to the animals that you're caring for instead. So you get to care for the animals rather than having to clean their tank constantly.
Win-win.
Putting your arm in the tank is not something that I always try and do. I try and let them look after it. You're looking after the glass and doing your water changes and all your testing.
It's definitely more sustainable that way too.
Yeah,
you don't want to be up to your armpit every day trying to clean a tank.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but this was 15 years ago. But someone said the more often you put your arm in the tank, the more things can go wrong. And it's generally the last thing that you did is what went wrong with the tank. So the less you're physically putting your arms in there, getting oils, hand cream, sunscreen into your tank, the less you're going to have issues.
Definitely. No, sound advice. Now, I can't hold off any longer. You've got some pretty juicy corals here we've got to have a look at.
Yeah, have to. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you've obviously made sure this is nice and full for the birthday celebrations, but you've got some pretty juicy stuff going on in here.
Yeah.
Can you take us through some of the highlights?
Yeah, so we've got a really nice assortment of scollies. All the scollies are out of Bundaberg, Monsoon.
Yep.
Really produce really good quality scollies out of there. All the colours you want. Your bleeding apples. You've got your UFOs, your masters. And then, we move into the hammers, and their hammers are fantastic. I love the hammers that they produce. Even these larger, jelly, I think they call them jelly bean varieties, the Queensland stems. All their Northern Territory para ancoras are really good too. And then, they do great bubbles as well.
They do it all out there. Juno, Brooke, Dan, Jonathan.
Yeah,
the names go on because there's a big team behind it all. But everyone out there at Monsoon, particularly in Bundy, where they do the aquaculturing of this stuff, is incredible. Then you go to the other sites where they do the wild collection. Yeah,
look, like I said to you before, we give Shane a hard time out at Cairns, but he's really great to work with.
Yeah,
really good quality wild caught stuff as well from them.
Yes,
steering away from the wild caught stuff, but they're torches, hammers, bubbles. Now I'm going to quiz you, Sam. Do you know what the species is, or the genus of the bubbles is called?
Of the bubbles, no. There's pretty and prettier. That's what the different.
Look, I don't want to butcher the scientific name for it, so I'm not going to say it here.
I'm sure someone in the comments will let us know the scientific names of these bubbles. But I mean, you've got a number of different shades, and then this guy here is just doing different things with his bubbles. He's got rice bubbles going on the end there. They're not just like cherry tomatoes. So.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. They change it like day to day. The shape of their bubbles kind of just morphs based on what flow's hitting them on the day, or if a fish has run into them, or whatever.
They're a dramatic coral. They really, they don't just look the same.
They definitely tell you when they're sulking too. So,
Now these torches, man, there's some colour on those.
Yeah.
Beautiful as the lawnmower just wants to steal the limelight for a second, but Look at the colour on those solid greens with blue tips. They've got them absolutely singing.
Yeah.
Beautiful specimens. And I don't want to go past the hammers too quick because the team out of Bundy are aquaculturing these and raising them up, and the variety they have now and the colours they're getting on them are just pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Look, I've been getting corals from Monsoon for a very long time.
Yep.
They started out with all their parancoras out of Darwin.
Yes.
But, you were just getting your greens, your model greens.
Yes.
Your reverses.
Yep.
And then they started getting to their bronzes, their orange with blue stems.
Yes.
And then now they've just gone crazy at Bundaberg with their colours.
Now...
And you don't see that variety. Well, you've never seen that variety before.
Yeah.
Now that we've got it in the hobby, I think people are a bit spoiled.
Yes, absolutely.
So we take it for granted for a bit. But 10 years ago, you weren't getting these colours of hammers.
No, and then, well, you definitely wouldn't have got the colours, and you wouldn't have got the names either. What's the name they've designated to these two ones over here?
Again. Look, I had to quiz Juno on this one again. Multiple times, and look, she still hasn't given me a clear, definitive answer of where the name came from. But they call them hot mess. There's a hot mess and a hot mess jelly bean. Don't hold it to me of which one's which. But very, very cool colours on them. Quite small at the moment. Obviously, they're a new variety for Monsoon.
Yes.
They come with that price tag because they are new. But
for sure.
Very, very cool hammer. I've never seen anything like it.
And for your customers that are interested in these, like they can come down on the birthday celebration on Saturday. They can talk to Juno.
Directly. She can explain to you what a hot mess is.
She can explain that. We love Juno. But she, the passion from everyone at Monsoon.
Oh, they work so hard.
They work so hard. And they know,
if I call them, they're answering their phone straight away.
They know every coral in that facility, and I'm not joking. There is tens, if not hundreds of thousands of corals there. They know each and every one of them like a firstborn child.
I think we'd all get dizzy trying to work out where everything is there.
So she'll tell you when they were fragged, who fragged them, what number tank they were in for how long before they got moved, how many weeks it was until they showed colour. She knows these things.
It's almost our detriment. I'll message her and say, hey, can you send me a photo of all the hammers you've got? And I can't even differentiate. There's thousands of them in the photo. So I can't even pick them out of which ones we want. So I just say, I trust them to pick the right ones for us. And I, can't complain. They send us some of the coolest hammers I've ever seen. When
you get varieties like that, it would be difficult to complain. And then amongst some of the things here, we've got you've got some wild SPS.
So they're from Cairns, from Shane.
Yep.
Really good SPS from him as well. Really good quality stuff.
Yep.
Sometimes we get them from Cairns Marine as well. The SPS.
Yep.
If people just want the wild stuff, it's there available for them. So definitely there's still a market for it. So
personally, here in Australia, wild SPS it's a staple. And
definitely.
I actually love it. It's affordable. It's a little bit of a lucky dip. You never know what these wild SPS are going to do in your tank. Sometimes
definitely.
You win, sometimes you lose.
More so with the Acroporas too. Because the wild caught ones generally don't come with a lot of rock attached to them, they're very easy to clean up.
Yep.
It's pretty easy to tell if they've got flatworms on them.
Of course,
Look, there's not much else that damages acros in Australia.
No.
We don't have many other pests.
No.
I've encountered the little red bugs every now and then, but very, very rare. And once you identify them, they're quite an easy fix. I think it's like a dog medication I used a long time ago. This was years ago.
Yes.
But flatworm, easy to treat on them if they're like this. Just do them before they go in your tank.
Yeah. But even once they're in your tank, wild SPS can completely change colour.
Yeah, they can shock you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there is the varieties that everyone knows what they'll do in a tank.
Yep.
But then sometimes you get that oddball, and you're the only one that's got it, and I think that's a good feeling.
I love it. Yeah, it's something that I know there has been a big trend or fashion in the hobby to go for named pieces.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I love to get a piece that doesn't have a name, and you don't know what colour or shape or growth pattern it's going to have.
Yeah.
And you just let it do its thing. It's awesome.
A lot of people from Sydney would probably know my face because I do the rounds sometimes, and I steal everyone's unnamed acros, and then I palm them off to everyone else. But there is some really cool stuff that you find that most stores they'll know it's something special because they've seen it like we have.
Yes.
Every time I go see someone, they will be like, "Oh yeah, I've got this for you, Nick. Have you seen this before?" And I'm like, "No, but I'm taking it. You better put it in a bag."
Bag it up.
And then we move on to like a lot of our zoas as well. So a lot of our zoas come from sustainable reefs.
Great.
So Rick, Christian, and Shane up there at Sustainable, they do really, really great aquaculture as well.
Yes.
Can't just toot the monsoon horn all the time.
Definitely.
So they're good competition for each other.
Absolutely.
Do really lovely quality zoas.
Yeah.
And they're affordable too. So they've definitely refined their processes and made them at a really good price.
Yes.
And again, it's like the hammers. We've got such a variety of zoas. There's not many zoas that you can't get anymore in Australia. But yeah, definitely a lot of them are really good colours. Yeah, really good colours for a tank, and really easy to keep.
Easy to keep is always a big win. Affordable, easy to keep, lots of colour.
Yeah. Not many pests.
You can't ask for too much more in a coral, really.
Yeah.
So it's easy to understand why they're popular.
Yeah.
You've got a good assortment of some Goni frags here, and I also love some of these Blasto frags you've got in here. Really nice.
Yeah, again, Monsoon, they're leading the charge with Blasto frags.
Yeah,
A lot of different varieties. I think they've got some named ones as well in there for the people that like them.
Yep. For the connoisseur.
Yeah. Blasto's an interesting one. They're easy to keep. They're an LPS, but you can kind of pack them in pretty tight.
You can, yeah.
And you can make a really cool little Blasto garden with them.
Definitely.
Which adds a really good, unique spot in your tank.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, you can get so many varieties in a fairly small space too. So
yeah,
you've got a little bit of rock work there to work with. You can really get a pretty happening Blasto garden going on there. You then move on to some frog spawns, some torches.
Yeah, so more of our, so more basic torches. The standard greens with green stems, purple with green tips. There's a few nicer ones here in the cheaper area. You just, you got to look, you know what you're looking for sometimes with torches.
Absolutely.
Same goes with the Zols. We've got a bit of the cheaper side of Zols as well, a bit more of the basics. Your scrambled eggs, there's a few Rastas in there, Sunny D's. And then some of these we actually frag in store as well. So once some of our bigger Zoll frags get a bit too big, we split them up, put them in the cheaper section for everyone, so then everyone gets, gets a shot at getting some of the nicer ones for a cheaper price.
Yeah, beautiful.
When you're on a budget and you only want 1 or 2 heads because they're going to grow out anyway, you might as well just get the cheaper ones.
Definitely. Now, one section I absolutely love is this soft coral frag section that is ridiculously well priced. Looking at the price tag there, you've got a great assortment of some real staples of the hobby here, and there's some bright leathers, toadstools, cinularias, some green star polyps, all sorts in there that just makes the hobby accessible and affordable for people out there.
Yeah, again, crazy colours. Like, you're paying $15, $20 for a leather that most people hadn't seen until recently. Monsoon's doing really good leathers, Sustainable Reefs does really good leathers. It's just the variety is there. They get the opportunity to go out in the reef and find what they want, and they know what they're looking for. So they find the coolest stuff.
It's a good combination.
Definitely great.
You come down to some more very affordable frags here from like $15, $20. You've got SBS, you've got LPS, you've got everything in between.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the scraps, but the bits and pieces, stuff that we've fragged off maintenance tanks. Other bits and pieces that customers bring in, and then just a few little oddities. You might get a little nice coral in there that's maybe died back a bit. It's regrown. So it's like a lucky dip, I guess.
It's a bargain basement corner, which I think every shop needs, because it's great to come in and, I mean, particularly on things like a YouTube video like we're doing here, it's great to oogle the ultra high end stuff, but
I've found some of my best pieces in my tank from the scrap that's fallen off the rack in a shop, and I'm like, what's that? And I run over and grab it.
Absolutely.
So I've made a few stores cut up their egg crate for me when there was a nice morph for a Zoll that I've never seen before, and I'll just pay for your sheet of egg crate. Let's do a deal. And then last we've got our anemones. So anemones that take pride on too. We've got a lot of variety of anemones.
Got a great assortment in here. You got a nice. This is a Hedoni?
Yeah. We always try and keep a Magnifica Hedoni. Magnifica's obviously a lot bigger, so you've got to try and find a small one first. But the Hedonis are a bit easy to keep in the baskets. And then, we've got just our bread and butter greens. And then we try and get into a bit more of our special ones. They're not as special anymore, but the forest fires I still think are really cool anemone. The rainbows from out in WA.
The rainbow's a stunner, and that red, that rose in there is
it's killer.
A legit rose. That's really nice.
Rose tips, rose tentacles, rose base.
She's rose on rose.
It's red everywhere. Some of them come with that purple base, but this one's red on red. You cannot fault it.
It's solid colour. No, it
definitely.
Looks a treat. And then even up the end here, I've just noticed some porcelain crabs in here as well.
Yeah, always try and keep porcelain crabs in stock. Sometimes we get the anemone shrimp in as well.
Nice.
A bit harder to see, but definitely another unique cool thing. I think sometimes they're called helicopter shrimp as well. They kind of float around your anemones. I think you just need the right type of fish for those. Probably no wrasse. Even the small reef safe wrasse probably eat them because it's so small. Sexy shrimp is something that seasonal, but a staple. We try and keep them in a lot of the time. The porcelain crabs are a big one. A big seller. People love them.
They're affordable. They're super cute.
We like to saturate the market with porcelain crabs. I got some good contacts for porcelain crabs. So
nice.
It's really nice. They get to work with those guys. But
no, that's good. Now the fun doesn't stop there because you've got a huge range of dry goods, scaping spaces, heaps here at the shop.
Yeah.
Able to give us a quick tour through that stuff as well?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So before we get into the dry stuff for the marines, we do supply live rock.
Yes.
Everyone has their opinion about live rock, but it's an option. People are allowed to do it. I think we shouldn't hate on it as much as we should in the industry.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of pests come in on corals. It's not necessarily your rocks. People like to blame their rocks and make that the solution. Maybe that's a bit of marketing by dry rock suppliers.
Yeah, potentially.
But I've set up tanks on dry rock. I've set tanks up on live rock. Not much difference. Yes, there could be issues. Nothing a little skewer can't do to a mantis shrimp. Their general issue is mantis shrimp. I don't like them. They make a lot of noise. Main thing, and they kill your little fish. So
yeah, they do.
Yeah, definitely. So that's definitely a big option for people. People still do buy it. I think it can make a really good tank. A bit harder to escape with. A bit harder to glue. I think maybe that's why a lot of people don't use it nowadays as well.
I think that's, to me, from what I've seen, I think that's the difference. I mean, the pro side is, we were talking earlier on the drive back from the airport about the diversity of bacteria, and live rock's going to give you a fantastic start for that. Yeah. But in the modern day of reefing, everyone's going for some pretty hectic scapes.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And doing that with live rock is like tenfold harder.
Yeah. And then look, you can go the hybrid too, where you can put a bit of live rock in your sump, or in your filter, wherever your filtration is, and then that also helps with that bacterial diversity and helps take cycle better too.
Definitely.
I find that you've got your bacterial cycle, you've got that ammonia, nitrate cycle, but then you've also got an algae cycle, I find, in marine tanks, where you go through like your diatoms, your green algae, some of us get cyano in certain tanks. Live rock does help with that.
Absolutely,
yeah, definitely, for sure, yeah.
Now, it's good to have options, give your customers the choice that they can make on their own, or you can be guided by you guys. Now, it's not just coral display tanks you've also got marine fish-only display tanks, like this one here, which has got a pretty interesting mix of fish in there that have got some stories and some things behind them. Can you take us through this tank?
Yeah, for sure. So, look, like you said, we've got fish-only displays. They're something that's really good for maintenance. We don't have to worry too much about the corals and the coral health when we're not there every day.
Yep.
It creates a cost-effective way for someone to have a reef tank without the coral. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the coral, but it's going to give you the uniqueness of the fish that you have.
Absolutely.
And look, I'd say this tank's a testament to our TTM.
Yes.
We've got a lot of big angels in there.
Yeah, you've got some fish that would normally be challenging to keep together.
We've had the arguments of fish in there that have fought each other, but right now it seems to be pretty peaceful.
Yeah.
Got a nice lionfish in there that's been quarantined as well.
Beautiful.
That lipstick's been with us for a long time now. It's gone through its stages, had a swim bladder issue for a while, but he's definitely back and floating well. He used to just sleep on the ground all day because he couldn't get up off the ground, but he'd just eat lying down and things like that, so we've definitely looked after him well.
The lipstick of my own heart.
Yeah.
Just lay on his side and eat.
And I do love my unicorns. So unicorns are some of my favourite fish.
And as you say, from a maintenance and a commercial perspective, I always say a reef tank, I would budget 50% of the cost of your tank on lighting.
Yes, 100%.
If you're not growing coral, that almost completely goes away. I mean, you can still spend some money on lighting, but you can save an absolute fortune on lighting.
Yeah, if you added, I'd say without a doubt, you're adding wave makers and lights, that's 50% of the tank.
Definitely, yeah. So it cuts the cost, and it also opens the possibilities of the fish you can keep. Because as we all know, particularly when we're new to the hobby, we go to a local fish shop and we see a fish, we're like, oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's not reef safe.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if there's no corals in there.
Some of these fish, expert hobbyists can keep with certain corals.
Yes.
I know Majestic had, I don't know if they've still got it, but they have a really beautiful SPS tank full of angelfish.
Yep.
So it does work. So people can see it, in the public.
Yes.
They are around. There's people online that have them.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's the first thing you jump to.
No, definitely.
There's a lot of uniqueness and intricacies about them.
Absolutely.
But a tank with no coral, hands down, you can get whatever fish you want, really, as long as they don't eat each other.
That's it.
That's the only problem you have with fish only systems.
Yes.
And also, if you do have problems with your fish, it's a lot easier to medicate a tank with no corals in there.
Of course, yeah.
If they're having an issue with a fluke, for example, we can throw some fluke medication in there.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. There's no shrimp. There's no other invertebrates in there.
Yep.
Good to go. Very easy to look after. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So there's absolutely a place for the fish-only system in this hobby, and I know. I mean, I can't. I'm obviously part of the problem. My channel's name is Parker's Reefs. It's not Parker's Fish Tanks. So, but there is absolutely, and in this day and age where corals aren't getting cheaper, and the need or desire for a beautiful display tank isn't going away at all, it's a super viable option, particularly in those bigger setups where
yeah,
you can put some cool fish in there and make an awesome display.
Hard doing big water changes on big tanks.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to bring in the commercial, the water changing commercial truck for the water change. So it becomes infinitely harder as it gets bigger with water changes.
Yes.
But yeah, with fish only, it's a lot easier. Provided your nitrates are quite low.
Yeah.
Very little that can affect fish. So your water changes, you know, move from that weekly to fortnightly.
Yep.
You can even extend it out to 3 months sometimes with fish, provided you've got a good nutrient export in there. Good quality skimmer, potentially even a refugium works well with fish to get the nutrients out.
Yep.
You're still running your sulfur reactor?
Not on this system, but it's something that, if my nitrates come up, it's definitely an option I go for.
Yeah, so sulfur reactors work really well. This system has a biopellet reactor.
Yep.
Helps keep the nitrates down. Again, saves on water changes. So
yeah,
definitely very low maintenance system. You've got to clean the glass and the skimmer cup, which stinks.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It's a lot worse than a reef tank, I'd say. Yeah.
Fair enough. No, it's a great system. And again, it showcases to your customers what's possible with different budgets and different outcomes as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think lastly as well, I think it also showcases how big some fish can get.
Yeah, it's a good point.
People don't believe me that sailfins get massive.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the biggest sailfin I've seen either. I've seen some dinner plate size ones.
Than that, and he's not even stretching out his sails
so
yet.
when people are like, oh, I've got a 3-foot tank or something, and they go, oh, I want a sailfin, a blue tang, this tang, that tang. I go, look, that's fine, but they also get this big. So, you know, you're going to come and see me and spend some money soon. Yeah.
I'll book in that upgrade now.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's great. Awesome. All right. Show us what else you've got, man.
Yeah, cool. All right, so look, not going to touch too much on this, just ornaments, bread button stuff for stores. Got all our little tanks. And then, we move into some of my favourite area, which is all the fish food.
You guys are going to kill a range of fish foods here.
Yeah, so look, do a lot of work with koi in Canberra. A lot of ponds, a lot of people that keep koi at their homes. So you got to keep it stocked. People like their specific foods. So we want to make sure that everyone's got the availability to get the food that they want here. Shouldn't have to order online. They should be able to walk down to their store after work, pop in, grab what they want, and head home and enjoy their fish.
Exactly.
Yeah, not having to worry about where they're getting their food from next.
Yeah. Now, I could be naive here because I'm not allowed to keep koi, but I am under the impression that the food and nutrition of the koi is one of the most important things to getting its colour and its patterns.
Yeah, definitely. And keeping them healthy, keeping their shape good quality as well. Some people, I'm a believer that cheap food kind of deforms the koi. They don't look as nice over a long period of time. And especially in Canberra too, we're trying to educate people. Could be, not so much Victoria because they're illegal, but some of the cooler areas in New South Wales and South Australia and things like that. You've got to teach people to feed them wheat germ food. Goldfish and koi, don't quote me on the temperature, it's in the single digits. Their stomach stops digesting the food. It can rot in their stomach and kill them. High wheat germ based foods tend to not do that. It's a good staple food to feed them over winter if you want to feed them. If they don't have enough condition to live through the winter, you've got to feed them something. So that's something we try and educate people on as well.
Super interesting.
And then next, we've got all our Vitalis range is huge. So we try and keep all our Vitalis stuff, feed all our marine fish here on Vitalis. Goes back to what we're talking about with the TTM. Make sure they eat pellets. Vitalis, they tend to take the most. A lot of suppliers we buy fish from already feed Vitalis, so really good food for them.
Good quality food, good range available.
Big range of all the other brands of fish food as well. A lot of shrimp stuff. So people getting big back into shrimp again. I don't know what's changed. We've got a lot of the Delua shrimp range stuff. And then we've got, your mineral shrimp balls, and then a lot of different types of food for your shrimp. Don't know if many people have seen it, but we've got the Aqua Munch stuff, which is a food that you mix with boiling hot water, and you can make your own little gel food with it. Works really, really well, really good quality food. Something really good to mix medication in with as well. Only caveat is that some medications you need to put in there when it's cold, so you've got to let it cool down a little bit first. So a little intricacy, but really good for feeding fish medication is putting it in gel food.
And you can actually see the fish eating it too then. Stick it on the glass or on the rock or something.
Exactly. So that's what it's made for, is all people like to stick it to the glass. I think in America they call it mastic or something, similar product, And
for fish that hiding in a particular spot of the tank, you can stick it like right in front of that cave and
and then they can come out, have a look at it, smell it. They've got to get a good idea of what it is first, and
rather than just broadcast feeding at the top right hand corner and they stay in their cave and don't get a drop of it.
And then all the other fish smash it and you get none. So gel food's a really good one.
Nice.
Got a lot of medications, a lot of water conditioners, big range of quantum stuff as well, and then a lot of our Dr. Tim's. we keep the full range of Dr. Tim's in stock.
Yes.
A lot of people use it. A lot of people swear by it.
Yep.
Goes back to what we're talking about bacterias.
Yeah.
Good strains of bacteria in a lot of the Dr. Tim stuff. It works really, really well. Easy to set up marine tanks with it.
Yeah.
Really easy. You can set up tanks a lot quicker than you used to back in the day. People used to have to wait months.
Yep.
I remember people would tell you, oh yeah, you got to wait a month, 2 months to set up your marine tank. You can get your tank set up in a week with fish.
Yep.
Dr. Tim's really, really changed the game with that stuff, and we recommend it a lot.
Yeah,
So
nice.
yeah.
Just have to put a lot of research into it, and yeah, as you say, bacterial diversity is everything at the moment. It's really where the hobby is focusing at the moment.
Yeah. You know, you got to keep doing your basics. Don't always blame the bacteria. But for people that have been doing it for a long time, I guess it's the next step of our development.
That's right.
As you know, the expert reefers now. So yeah,
hobby's always evolving. Now I can see up above your shoulder there, you guys don't just have stuff that you say, yeah, we can get that, we'll order it in for you, it'll be here in a week or a month or whatever it is. You guys walk the walk after talking the talk. Look at that range of dry goods, man. You've got lights, you've got filter rollers, you've got protein skimmers, media reactors, RODIs, obviously with your freshwater stuff, you've got canister filters, CO2 setups, pond filters, pumps. You have it all here.
Look, there's more. There's more. We just don't have the shelving for it. We wish we had a bigger building. But yeah, that's something we pride ourselves on. We want to make sure we've got everything in stock.
Yes.
Mostly, and if we don't, we will have it within a day or two for you. So we've got good relationships with a lot of our suppliers.
Yep.
I think we've got the full Deltec range.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, you know, someone will tell me that, oh, you're missing this piece.
Oh,
but
look, some of the stuff Deltec makes is almost the size of this shop. So
yeah, exactly. So look, we do have some really big skimmers, but I don't know where am I going to put them? They're hidden. They're up in the roof. But we've got like the Deltec filter rollers as well. The Red Sea ones are great as well.
Yep.
Normally we have the Clarices in stock, but the stock's been low on them.
Yep.
Keep full range of Kessel in, all our Radion AI, all the Delua Illumagic stuff is always in stock as well.
Yes.
Mainly focusing on the pixels and like the little minis and stuff like that for the smaller tanks.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Aquamatic, Ecotech again with their pumps, the Aquamatic smart drifts. Yeah, everything you need really.
Everything you need. Here to go. One thing I do love too, particularly with things like your filter rollers and the skimmers too, that you don't just have the box there. You've got them out, set up, assembled.
If someone wants to look at one, they can pull it down, have a look at how it works, see if it works for them. They can measure the space. It's all good and well reading the measurements on a box,
exactly.
But that's not a real world application.
Yep.
Sometimes on the box it says it's a centimetre too big this way or that way, but they got to be generous.
Yep.
But if someone's got a really tight space in a sump, and they've got the exact measurements, they come to me, we'll pull it down and we'll have a look and see if it'll fit.
See if it's going to fit.
Definitely. So make sure it works. Each skimmer also, I find the heads come off differently.
Yep.
So sometimes you need a lot more space than it says you need.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You might need.
You don't want to be really awkward trying to get your skimmer out.
Definitely not. Not when it's full of nice.
Yeah, I don't need that in my shoes.
And then you've got another wall here. All of your staples from your heaters, air stones, air hose, some salts, some spare parts. Some more zeolites and media bags, obviously your filter pads, and then onto some of your lily pipes and stuff like that, your backgrounds down here. And then you come up to an aquascaping section here. Can you tell us about what's going on here? Because this is a pretty legit setup.
So we've got a lot. We try and keep as much stuff in stock. We've got bags and bags. If you want to do a 12-foot tank, we've got enough sand and gravel for you. A lot of people like to aquascape. We go through a lot of this stuff quite quickly.
Yes.
The woods we try and diversify as well.
Yes.
I hate going to a store and they've only got one type of wood.
So
yes, it is a bit of a jumble, but have a play. You got a lot of stuff to find, a lot of different colours of wood.
Yep.
Same with the rocks too. We like to keep, a lot of the rocks that most people use. So you got like the round stuff, the Siriu rock, dragonstone. They all got different names. Lava rock's really good. It's nice and light.
Yep.
But and then we get into more of the marine sort of aquascaping stuff.
Yes.
So we've got a lot of the real reef stuff. A lot of the plates, the branches, the little bridges, and then we've got a lot of their actual pre-made plates, I think they're called.
Yep.
And then they're just their normal rubble stuff. Got a lot of Marco rock from Delua as well.
The full assortment, and then you've got the bench space here to be able to get some bits out of the tubs.
Yeah, for sure. And look, because we do look after people's tanks, we've got to build it. So we use this space too. Look, the benches look nice and clean. I flipped them yesterday. They're a bit messy underneath from all the super glue we use.
So they look like they're virginal benches, but they do actually get quite a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't want to flip them again. They're awful. But and then full range of glue, everything you need. So, you can even, if you wanted to, you could spend a day here scaping it, asking us questions, getting our advice. It's pretty fun making aquascapes, especially when you're smashing up rocks. We can help you out with all that stuff. So if you don't have the space at home and you want to smash up something and you don't want to get it all through your carpet, come and do it here. I'll clean it up for you.
And I mean, you've got, as you say, you've got the nice bench with the measurements, everything you need, and then you've got, that way you're not buying more stuff than you need. You're literally grabbing the bits that you're using while you're building the scape.
Finish it in place,
then you can bring it home, put it in your tank, and
and you can see we're pretty overstocked. I hang some of the wood from the roof. Look, it gives another perspective on the wood too. Some people like to pick them off the roof. I'll get them down for you whenever you're ready.
That's where you get the good ones, I hear.
Well, the biggest ones I put on the roof. So if people want really big scapes, it's something that, and it just looks cool. I think it looks cool.
It looks great. No, it's fantastic. And as you say, you guys are building a lot of scapes for your clients anyway, so you're going to need the space to do it. You may as well share that space with your customers so that everyone can get benefits from it.
And that's why I say people should come in here and do it with us. We've got the experience of what not to do. We've failed a few scapes.
You've made the mistakes before.
A few scapes have fallen over when we've gone to pick them up. So definitely we need to need to help you with that stuff sometimes when you're new to that. And then we've also finally got like a lot of the breeder caves for freshwater fish. So a lot of your bristlenose small plecos, L-number plecos, people love their caves. So really, really big volume of those, hundreds of each variety. So whatever type of cave you want, whatever you prefer, the square ones, the rounder ones, whatever you think works best for your fish, definitely have them. So
Put them there. No, that's awesome. And I also found one of these big Deltecs we were talking about that could be hiding in the roof. But
again, something I don't know where to put it, so we put it there to kind of show it off. If someone wants a big Deltec skimmer, it's there for you.
Perfect. No, well, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know, obviously, in the lead up to the big birthday celebrations you've got going on, the doors are about to open for that, which is super, super exciting with heaps of deals, giveaways, special guests, all sorts here. You've found the time to be able to take us through on this detailed tour of the shop, and I'm sure everyone's going to really appreciate it. For those who obviously are in the area, they can come on down. The address for the shop?
100 Barrier Street in Fishery, across the road from Harvey Norman.
Perfect.
And coffee for the day. We've got a lot of giveaways and a lot of that sort of stuff. So it's definitely worth coming down for the day.
Definitely.
And one of the team here will look after you and give you a good deal on something if you're after it on the day. So
awesome. And for those who are still in Australia but possibly not that close to the shop, you guys do mail order on some stuff?
We can. Definitely. A lot of, we've got so much stuff in stock. If someone else doesn't have it, we've probably got it. I would say, we've got a lot of stock, like one of the larger online stores. We just don't necessarily online. We like to be bricks and mortar. It's just not an avenue that we've gone into. But it's definitely coming up with the birthday event. Really, really, really good if we see everyone down here. Like I said, you got coffee and all that for everyone. And there'll be lots of stuff to do here today. So,
and even if you're a freshwater person or you're a marine person looking to go freshwater and you're not sure where to go, you got the staff here with the expertise that can help set it up and even help with the maintenance and even on a handover program where you guys can help them find their feet, get up and running.
Definitely.
Do some maintenance to sort of lighten that learning curve and then sort of walk them through it and then see if they want to take over from there.
And that's a lot what we do as well. We will install tanks for people, set them up, show them how we've set it up, and give them all the apps for marine stuff is probably a crux of a lot of people's adventure with the hobby, and we like to make sure that people understand how the apps work. Make sure they can connect to the products they're buying. If they can't connect to the product they're buying, it's no use to them other than a brick.
Yeah, that's right.
So
expensive brick.
So we want to guide that through with people. We don't necessarily have to come out to do that for you. We can do it in store for you. We can even set stuff up in store and you can take it home. But definitely, I guess that's a good part about we've got a lot of staff here, so a lot of staff that are experts in different things. So if you come in and ask, hey, I need help with this, a lot of time people will grab me or one of the other boys that's got a lot of experience in those things, but there is little niche things that each of us are kind of got more experience in, and we kind of leverage that with our customers. So
makes sense. Perfect. No, well, thanks again. I really do appreciate it. I hope the birthday celebration is a massive hit, and I can't wait to come back and see what's new in the store next time. So thanks again for having us, man.
Appreciate it.
Alright guys, there you have it. That is the personalised store tour of Beyond Aquariums right here in Australia's capital, Canberra. I want to give a massive shout out to Nick and Lachlan for making it possible for me to get up to Canberra and check out the beautiful store that is Beyond Aquariums. Now, I think you can all agree that that store is impeccably presented. All of the dry goods, all of the live goods, full to the brim. Everything looked beautiful, healthy, really good condition, very well priced, and just a fantastic local fish store to walk in and have a look around. So I think the guys there, both Nick, Lachlan, and the full team have done an incredible job making this shop what it is today, and amazingly, in just their 4th year in that location. So well done to both of you. I do also want to say that I got the opportunity to get around the area and check out some of the commercial tanks that the team service in the area for different facilities, whether it be a mechanics, an accountants, an IT firm. There was tanks of both freshwater and marine in various businesses there that these guys maintain to a beautiful standard, and it was really cool to see these various businesses interacting with the Beyond Aquariums team and just appreciating the work they do and making their business have something a little bit different there, and it just really does elevate this hobby to the next level. So well done to the full Beyond Aquariums team for making that work as well as they do. Now, I don't have much else to add. If you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you're yet to subscribe, which on average about 80% of my channel viewers are not subscribers yet, so please do consider subscribing in that bottom corner. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback for myself or the team at Beyond Aquariums, don't be shy. Pop them in the comment section below and I will personally reply to each and every one there. Last thing I will leave you with, I want to give one final shout out to all of my channel members, which are on screen here now. These guys do chip in a couple of bucks each month just to make some of these extracurricular videos possible. So a massive thank you to you guys out there. I really do appreciate what you do for this channel each and every month. Anyway, guys, I best wrap things up. I need to go get some sleep. It's been a long day in Canberra, but I appreciate it if you've made it this far. And until next time, guys, stay safe and keep reefing. Cheers. Bye.